let's talk about mobile phone radiation harmonisers. This is our mobile phone radiation harmoniser that's it in the packaging. These are really important. They've been around for a long time. We're probably the longest. We've been probably making mobile phone radiation harmonisers in Australia longer than most other companies around. And we have probably the most experience with making mobile phone radiation harmonisers, in that there's a lot of phone harmonisers being made on the market. And they all have one common fault, is that they all have a discordant frequency. And that discordant frequency means that the harmoniser has a positive charge, which means there's no balancing effect going on with their harmonisers.
Because the phones give off an unhealthy
Positive charge. That's the electromagnetic field.
And the mobile phone harmoniser
produces a negative charge. That's really important. So with a mobile phone harmoniser on the phone, the radiation field is out to there. And with the street lights these days, it's still out to there when you're not using your phone. And that causes electromagnetic stress on us and our Chinese meridians. So that frequency of that field has to be neutralised or balanced with a negative charge. And that's where we're different to everyone else, because we have pure negatively charged counter frequencies, and no one else knows how to do that. Everything else we see in the market is positively charged, and they come out of generally one part of the world, which we know to be China. And the Chinese aren't experts on EMF products whatsoever. Another really interesting thing I see on social media with some companies selling their phone harmonisers, which I don't know, they don't work, is that they'll show a mobile phone and an EMF meter next to it showing radio frequency, and will have a high reading. And then in the next shot or scene, they'll have that mobile phone turned face down, and they'll have the EMF meter next to the phone, and the reading will be 0, trying to push the point that on the back of their phones is neutralising the EMF. Well, a harmoniser on a phone won't reduce radio frequency readings. And what's actually happening is the phone that they're showing, the back of the phone, is being shown because the phone is actually turned off. Because if they turned it the right way up, it would show it would be turned off. It wouldn't be on. And I know that for a fact because I can read the energy. And I've seen that 1 or 2 manufacturers out of the US doing exactly that, showing the EMF reading high with the phone that way, 0 that way, but the actual phone's turned off.
So what do EMF readers actually show?
People generally read mobile phone because they think of it as radio frequency with radio frequency meters. But it should be read, the electromagnetic field, the charge field should be read, because the radio frequency field is not really the charge field. It's a byproduct of the workings of the phone. But the actual harmful field is really an electromagnetic field. And we demonstrate that, and we've done that a lot of times in the past on video here and there using the biotensor. And that shows the direct effect of our phone harmoniser neutralising the charge in the air, whereas the other harmonisers, when we test with the biotensor, there's no change in the effect whatsoever. The phones are still producing harmful radiation.
And when you're using a mobile phone harmoniser, on a practical level, does it matter if you put the mobile phone harmoniser on the case or the actual phone itself?
No, it doesn't matter. With ours, it doesn't matter. Like here, mine is under my cover. It's not stuck there. And the reason for that is that, let's say next week I want to get a new phone, I'll take that phone harmoniser out and put it underneath the cover of the next phone harmoniser.
So you don't need to take it off the sticky backing?
No. The only reason we have sticky backing on the phone harmonisers is for people who don't use covers. And if we go back 10 years, DECT phones, which is the cordless phones we used to use in our homes, a lot of them had curved backs on them. And we needed an adhesive to hold the harmoniser around the curved back. But with most, I don't know of a smartphone these days that does have a curved back at all. They're all flat backed anyway.
It may be useful to stick it on if you have a laptop where there isn't a case.
Laptops and iPads tend to be less You turn them over less than what you would a mobile phone. Like
Yes.
my current laptop, I think I've had that for about 6 years, and it's still as good as the day I bought it for my use. And it's had the same one phone harmoniser stuck on that.
And how long do the phone harmonisers last?
They last forever. It's an interesting one, that, because I've seen a lot of harmonisers sold elsewhere, so-called phone harmonisers, where they say after a certain period of time that their harmoniser will no longer work. But when I test those harmonisers, they never worked in the beginning. And a few years ago, the Northern Rivers area of Queensland and New South Wales had a huge amount of rain for over a week or so. And one of the phone harmoniser manufacturers was actually saying if their harmoniser was subjected to high humidity, it would stop the harmoniser from working. Well, you could put our phone harmoniser under water, but it will still work. It's not affected by water or humidity or anything like that whatsoever.
Excellent. So what sort of benefits can I feel when using a mobile phone harmoniser? How would I feel before using it? How would I feel after using it?
Before, without the phone harmoniser?
Without a phone harmoniser on my mobile?
Me personally, pain in the hand.
Okay.
I don't get that anymore. I feel nauseous if I'm not using a phone harmoniser. If I did that, I'd get an instant headache. But I still don't do that when I use a mobile phone with a harmoniser, because if you're doing that, and even the EMF's been neutralised, if you've got someone on the phone that's speaking at 1,000,000 miles an hour and they're very upset and agitated, their personal emotional energy can come through being a discordant sound frequency. So I still keep it away from me, away from my ear.
Did you get hot head syndrome? Did you get a hot ear?
Not me
hot
personally,
head?
but a lot of people did experience that without phone harmonisers, and they don't experience that with ours anymore.
Right. And so now you do have a mobile phone harmoniser on your phone. Do you experience any negative side effects from using your mobile?
No, I don't anymore. The only thing I find with phones these days, they get really, really hot, and we have a lot of people coming to me saying, "Oh, your phone harmoniser, is it still working because the phone's getting hot?" They think it will neutralise the
battery.
heat temperature, but no, that's the electronics. And Apple and other smartphone manufacturers over the last probably 6 to 8 years have tried to make changes with their programming and different things to try and lessen the heat, but they are one big heat sink anyway.
Another question with the mobile phone harmonisers, if I have AirPods and I want to neutralise the harmful EMF from wearing the AirPods, what do I need to do that?
That's a really interesting one that gets asked a hell of a lot. Some people think with the AirPods you need to stick, so for example, our small watch harmonisers on them to neutralise them. But no, if you've got the harmoniser on the phone, the Bluetooth basically sends a frequency to each AirPod, and that frequency is positively charged. But with the phone harmoniser on the phone, that frequency of the connection is negatively charged, which means that the electronics within the Bluetooth, instead of producing a positively charged field, is negatively charged. So you don't get the headaches and those negative effects from using AirPods. So when I go to the gym, I'm using my AirPods without a problem under my red light therapy bed with my Stellar-Dome to neutralise the red light therapy or the radiation coming from the red lights. So the red light therapy session is wonderful. And I'm listening to my nice music with my AirPods, and I'm not affected by that because of the harmoniser on my phone.
Very good. So you don't need to have additional
watch
harmonisers on the AirPods.
And I'm seeing my competitors now advertising their phone harmonisers being stuck onto AirPods that I just laugh because their harmoniser never worked from the very beginning.